What's going on, Bessy gang, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Black Bessy Media. It's been a bit of a minute since the last episode. Been a little busy at work, and I've also been waiting on parts and tools. Motobros Jason was able to hook me up with a center fork stand and let me borrow his fork spring compressor. With those two items, I should be able to service the forks here on good old Bessy girl. So let's go ahead, jump right into it. I'm going to start with getting the forks off the bike, getting the bike suspended in the air, loosen up my my clip-ons here, start getting some things broken down up top so we can get these tubes to slide right off. Aside from Jason letting me borrow his center forklift stand, I did go ahead and order myself one. I was fortunate enough this holiday season. My parents hooked me up with some tire warmers. So I'm definitely going to have a nice way to get this front tire off the ground. I do have a normal like forklift stand. These kind of loop around the bottom of the fork and it lifts the tire up that way, which is nice, works great. Bike can be fully suspended, both tires off the ground, and I can sit on the bike, maneuver around on it. I don't really have to worry about too much. But for servicing the forks, I obviously can't use it to lift it from there. And as I had tried to record but wasn't able to make a video on it, data rectifier wires, hardwired, soldered together, all good to ready to go. That connection was sitting on top of the spark plug cap here. And between the heat from the spark plug cap and the heat that in the stator rectifier connection, it ended up melting the stator rectifier connection and my bike was cutting out mid-ride. So took care of the stator rectifier connection, did a bench test for the rectifier and did a test for the stator, both of which were producing the correct ohms in voltage. So everything there was good. Just went ahead and bypassed the connection for it. I still have to, when I go to do the little service stuff, spark plugs, oil and all that stuff, air filter, I gotta buy a new spark plug cap here because this one is a little damaged here. Let's see if we can pop it out real quick. So yeah, you can see it's got some melting damage to it here. I'm just gonna go ahead and replace that with a new one. Doesn't seem like we got any oil at the bottom of here, so means that the valve cover gasket's pretty good still. Go ahead, pop this back on. Anyways, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead, get the bike suspended in the air, and let's start wrenching on these forks. Get these forks off, get them ready to get serviced. I already stopped by the service center the other day, picked up some fork oil. Boom, fork oil, high performance 10 weight. And like I said, let's get to it. Before we start working on anything, I'm gonna go ahead, clear off my workbench, clear off my toolbox, clear off the workbench, kind of clean myself up a little bit here, make a nice environment for me to work in before I start breaking down the bike, doing some servicing. So let's go ahead, get the garage cleaned up a little bit. See you guys in a minute. Alright gang, so I got the toolbox cleared off. I got the workbench. I created some more space for myself. Should be more than enough for me to service these forks. I'll probably be doing it over here on the workbench. Other than that, got my little collage wall going on here. But yeah, I'm gonna get the bike up on the center forklift, start loosening up all these bolts here, and slide these tubes off. Along with the center forklift, because this isn't the right pin size for my bike, I'm also just gonna have, you know, a safe goat underneath there. I got the motorcycle lift. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna set up the camera, get the light on, and probably just do a quick little time lapse of me getting the bike up, getting the fork tubes off, and then we'll talk a little bit after the time. Too sure how good that angle was there on the sped up clip, but I got the right hand side tube off. I got the clip on zip tied to the triple so we don't have no stress on the cables here. I also did the same thing with the brake calipers. You can see I just ran a zip tie around the caliper and then zip tied it up to the radiator. That's just so that you don't have a whole bunch of stress on your joints of your brake lines. Little habit that I picked up working on cars. But like I said, we got the right side tube over here. And it's looking pretty good. Obviously gonna clean it up, get all the bug guts and dirt off of it. Seal looks good. It is not leaking. And I'm still waiting on my other seals to come in, so I might just put a little bit of grease on these to keep them from cracking and then change my oil. But I don't know, still sourcing out some seals. There's nothing local that carries seals for my 07 Gixxer. And I don't feel like waiting a week from Revzilla for these seals to come in, so we'll see where I can find some seals real quick. Well, other than that, I'm not going to waste your time with doing a time lapse for the left-hand side fork. I'm just going to go ahead, get that off, and get ready for my next video. I'm going to do a little unboxing of some goodies that we have. Just a little hint, they go up here, and they're from the company Vortex. If that doesn't say enough, I don't know what else to tell you. Till the next video. So stay tuned. Pretty simple process getting the fork tubes off here. Just loosening a couple of compression joints here. One here, you got one on your clip-on, and you got another one on the triple on top. You just loosen them up and tube slides right out. Didn't have really any issues with that. So I'm gonna go ahead, tackle the other side, get it done. All right, Bessy gang. Tubes are off. Ready to be serviced. Over here real quick, you can see on the toolbox, I kind of just laid out the basic tools that was required of me to get my forks off. I mean, obviously I didn't use all these, but I used an Allen socket. 14, 12, 10, an extension, a ratchet wrench, another 14, 12, and 17. And then I use a 7/8 for the axle nut. And then I have a axle remover nut too that goes on the other side there. We got both the forks here. I used my impact drill and a set of needle nose pliers. Couple of zip ties. That was it. Without filming, this would have taken me a half hour, not even. Even with filming, I'm only going on hour and 10 minutes, which is not bad at all. So that's just the removal of the forks. Now obviously servicing them is about another hour, 45-minute to hour process. You got to break them down completely, drain them, let them sit upside down for a little while so all the fluid can drain out, and then just reassemble. Yeah, that's about another 45 minutes to an hour. Like I said, I'm trying to source out some seals without waiting an absurd amount of time. I just waited an absurd amount of time for the parts that we're gonna go over in the next video for up front here, and I'm not having it. I only got a couple more things with Bessy that I need to complete. Fork seal servicing is one of them, and then I can start assembling everything else back together, and the bike is ready for the season. So I want to get these done and taken care of as soon as possible. Other than that, gang, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Black Bessy Media. Peace.